about your home being somebody else's home. I know that that seems kind of odd to think of it in terms of that, that it is yours, you still possess it, and you still have to live there until it sells. But the whole goal in selling is to make the house somebody else's house. So you want to remember that just because you utilize certain rooms, certain spaces, even outside, certain things in a certain way, that doesn't always translate to a buyer. Now, you may have a house that is set up perfectly for certain situations. You may have a massive closet that you put a dressing table in where you're doing your makeup and things, or you may have a sitting area in a master bedroom or something of that nature, to where you set up a little nursery area if you have a small child. But the majority of people will most likely not understand fully how they can see themselves in that house if it's set up highly specific to your situation. So that is something that we want to consider every single room. When you're walking through your bedrooms, you want to make sure that you aren't limiting the furniture to where it looks completely bare, and unless it's, you're moving out before, you actually put it on the market and so all your stuff is gone. But if you're still living there, you don't want it to be completely bare, but you want it to feel open and spacious. So if you can limit large amounts of furniture, that is a great thing. Living room. If you set your living room up and you have small children and you've got a whole wall of toys, that's great for you. Let's put them in some baskets. Let's organize it a little bit to where it's a little hidden, because not everybody that comes through is going to have kids, and even if they have kids, they may not need that type of storage because they could be in different phases of life. So we have to consider the masses. We have to consider who we're trying to sell to. Think about the location of your home. Are you in an area that's close to schools that you are going to predominantly have a lot of families looking to buy? Or are you in an area where there's lots of work-related items, to where people may be commuting, or they may be working from home, so you have a designated office space that may not actually be an office, but it works. If it works and it works with where you are, then that's one thing. But if you're just making this house work for you, then you need to consider taming that back a little bit, and let's make it work for the masses. For example, our old house, we had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 3 kids. So we had 2 kids in 1 bedroom. 1 kid had her own bedroom because she was a little older. And then we also had the master, which had our normal stuff in it, but some of their clothes were in our bedroom because we didn't have space in their bedroom. We had a huge wall set up in one of the bedrooms with a bunch of toys and buckets, but everything was very organized. And even if you were going to use that for a different purpose, the shelving came off the walls very easily, but it also was done properly, so it looked really nice and sleek, so that you had other purposes it could be used for. And when we went to sell the house, I went through all the buckets and pretty much emptied all the toys out, so that you knew it could be used for that, but you could visually tell that it could be used for other things. Our dining room, we didn't have a very big dining room. It was like a dinette off of the kitchen. And we ended up and had this wall, not quite floor to ceiling, but midway width, to waist height, all the way to the top. And it was a very tall ceiling of shelf after shelf after shelf. And it had nothing but whiskey and, I'm trying to think, bourbon, just all the different liquors. Okay. My husband is a huge proponent for different, types of liquors. And so we had a liquor wall. We really contemplated taking all that down, because to some people that just may not be their vibe. And that may be a little off-putting to walk into a house and have a wall covered in alcohol. People judge. I mean, they do. And so we really contemplated taking all that down. But the more we thought about it, we were like, it is what it is, and we're going to leave it. We made that executive decision. It was okay for us. But you have to make those decisions. You have to decide, is it worth leaving? And if you get judged on it, or if it throws a buyer for a loop, are you going to be okay with that? Or are you going to say, I really want the absolute best chances. I don't want to do anything to offend, to cause problems to have somebody come in here and side-eye something. Like, we want it to be as perfect as it can be. Those are decisions that you have to make with yourself and with your realtor to decide what's going to work best. Sometimes it works to leave the things. Sometimes it is just too much of a hassle for you to not just leave the things. But you just have to remember that it can affect when buyers come in and look. So, I mean, you can see in this picture, literal wall of liquor. And like I said, some people, this can be off-putting to them. But we were very fortunate that it wasn't a problem. Actually, the person that ended up putting an offer in made a comment jokingly, oh, does that come with the house? Because they thought it was so cool. And then the other buyer that had come in that submitted a backup offer had something to say about it, and it was positive. So those things can happen, but you could see why we contemplated, should we take this down? So you just want to consider those things. You want to make sure that you're kind of selling to the masses, but if you're okay with knowing that somebody may judge you or somebody, may have an opinion, then leave it. Make it easy on yourself and just leave it. But we do want to be cautious with things like that. Like, we don't want to leave like boudoir pictures up in the bedroom and things of that nature. So just talk to your realtor and find out what they think should stay, what they think should go. They can help you actually narrow that list down, because some stuff that you think needs to go may not be a big deal. So just have that conversation, and they can guide you and they can help you make this a little bit easier, but also tell you what the people want so that you have the best chance of your house being on the market and getting sold very quickly. My name is Morgan Rountree of Morgan Rountree Realty. I'm your East Coast realtor. I would love to help you if you have any questions, or if you need tips and ideas on how to kind of minimize the house a little bit and get it ready for the market. Please reach out. I would love to hear from you. I hope to see you soon.